Hi golfers, Rob Cheney here from GOLFTEC Singapore. Today's video we're going to discuss the topic of aim. Aiming in golf, it's very important. Learning to aim yourself, your club, your body, your golf swing is at the core of playing your best golf that you possibly can. So I'm excited to share some ideas around this subject with you today. Let's get started.
Swing. That was a good swing.
So the topic of aim is potentially quite a broad one, plenty to discuss if we really think about it. I could probably make this video extremely long and go into a lot of detail. What I'm going to try and do today is approach this video from a play your best golf now point of view. Trying to help all of you guys out there recognize how to aim your golf swing more appropriately for your individual tendencies. And I think that's a skill that's lacking in a lot of golfers. We're very typically caught up in trying to hit the ball perfectly straight, too straight on some occasions. So some of the ideas I'm about to share with you now are really based around the idea of playing your best golf today, choosing the right target for your swing, and helping you to be able to recognize what that is and helping you to do that. This video came about actually because of a video of my own swing that I posted on Instagram last week. I played golf at Laguna Golf and Country Club here in Singapore, and I posted my drive, my tee shot on the last hole there on the Masters golf course. And it's been picked up previously, but it was picked up again this week, and the fact that I aim my feet quite a long way to the right of the fairway. And that strikes some people as being strange. I think it's a topic and a subject that people misinterpret quite often. How to aim, what you should be trying to do. The fact that I aim my feet so far off of my intended target should start to give you guys an indication of what I'm going to talk about in this video. Finding the most appropriate aim for your individual swing. Aiming, as far as I'm concerned, is far too often and continues to be prescribed in a very binary way. Aim the club face at the target. Aim your feet and your body line parallel to that target. It's just wrong. It's just not the way the best players do it. Aim is a variable. It's something that you learn to adapt and adjust based on your individual swing tendency. It's something that you use to aim your golf swing. I'm going to use that phrase somewhat today. I'm going to talk about aiming your golf swing. Not aiming your club face at a target necessarily, not aiming your body at the target necessarily, because aiming your golf swing and the outcome shot pattern that your golf swing produces is ultimately how you should think about aim. So here's how I think about it. The function of the swing is to produce golf shots. That golf swing produces a scatter pattern, an outcome that is random, hopefully not too random, and of course, as your skill level increases, your ability to reduce the dispersion of your shot pattern increases. That's what makes you a better golfer. Golfers who have a wide, extremely loose shot pattern find playing this game much more difficult because their golf swing doesn't project their ball to their intended target often enough. But nobody's golf swing hits the ball exactly where they want it to all of the time. So the idea that we should be striving to aim dead straight at any target, or the idea that we should be trying to hit the ball dead straight when we practice, is really not very productive or helpful at all. A couple of great examples of this would just be to look at some of the really cool technology that they use now on television coverage of all golf tournaments. The shot tracer or the pro tracer that they use to track the trajectory of the golf ball, be that off the tee or if someone's hitting iron shots into a green. You will notice if you pay attention that those balls and those lines that are projected onto the screen are not typically dead straight. They generally have a curve to them. I think that's important to recognize. Most of us are curving the ball. My preference is to draw the ball. Not everybody likes to draw the ball. #1 golfer in the world, Dustin Johnson, talked recently in this video with his coach, Claude Harmon, about how often he tries to draw the ball during any given round or any given season.
How many times a year do you try and hit draw with the driver?
Never.
Ever?
No. I mean, if there's like a really strong wind off the right and the hole's fairly
But like last year, can you think of any tee balls that you hit driver on where you drew it?
No. On purpose?
Yeah.
No,
On purpose.
not on purpose.
So if the best players in the world are telling you that they just shape the ball one particular direction, it's probably in your interest to stick to that plan as well. And probably not such a great idea for you to be trying to shape the ball left to right and right to left if you're playing a dogleg that works in opposite directions. I certainly play my best golf when I stick to my basic standard draw pattern, even on holes that dogleg from left to right. But I use my aim appropriately, and I use my understanding of the grid, the diagram that I've shared with you on many occasions before. The grid helps us to aim, and then how we position the ball on the grid allows us to increase the likelihood of curving the ball more, or reduce the likelihood of curving the ball too much and allowing us to hit a straighter shot. So there's a bit of background and some foundation really for the discussion around aim and how to start to think about it. Again, I think if you fall into the category of thinking about aim as being static and thinking about aim as being only one particular way to do it, then you're already on the wrong setting. Okay, you've got this organized incorrectly in your mind. I'll often come up against students where we try and discuss aiming their body line, their club face, away from the target, be that to the left or to the right more, and it's met with the objection of, well, isn't that one fault? Aren't I making one more fault to counteract another fault that's somewhere else in my swing? Again, it's really not how you should be thinking about it. You should be learning to aim your body and your club face as appropriately as possible for your general tendencies with your shot pattern. Okay, and a shot pattern can be defined as your likely outcome across a bunch of shots. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. I'm going to hit 10 shots with my 7-iron. I'm going to stand here and hit them. We're going to take a look at the outcome. I'm going to try and help you to start to recognize your own shot pattern and how this could benefit you when you're on the golf course and help you to choose better targets. Okay, there's 10 shots. I added a little club 12 there on the last one, just for effect. But I'm going to now sit down. I'm going to take a look at how those balls flew and discuss my shot pattern. Okay, let's take a little look at those shots. That was very typical of my tendencies. So it's a great example of being able to show you what really happens in the real world when I'm hitting shots on the golf course. So if we take a look at the overall patterns and some of the averages on the screen, the first thing we'll look here at the bottom of this image is the tendency. So the center line, where I'm just scrolling my mouse across right there, that's sort of the aim if you took the driving range and aimed dead straight down the driving range. And you can see from my outcome here that 7 of the 10 shots finished to the left of center and 3 of them finished to the right. That would be, as I say, extremely typical of my pattern. My bad shot would be for the ball to overdraw or hook too much to the left. And that sort of starts to help you understand why I would aim my shot or aim my swing right of my intended target, because my general tendency, as you can see, is to curve it to the left. If we take a look at the shot table, we take a look at the ball data here. One thing that I think is extremely important to note and is something that helps me to manage my shot pattern is the side spin column. So you'll notice the number here is not so much what I'm looking at. What I'm looking at, if we just go back to that screen, what I'm looking at here is the side spin direction. So you'll see in all of these, the ball is curving to the left. So every single one of these balls has a spin axis that is tilted to the left. So that's absolutely my tendency there, is to curve the ball in one direction. That goes back to the quote I was making earlier about Dustin Johnson and only really trying to hit the ball one way. That allows me some significant degree of predictability in my shot shape. It affords me a likely outcome, and I know that my ball, maybe if I start it a little bit to the right, the kind of worst it's ever going to do is stay there, and then all of the balls are going to curve to the left. Some of them are going to curve more to the left than I want them to, but in all of those examples I can use that tendency and that outcome of that shot pattern to pick the most appropriate target for my swing and my game. So where should you start to allow yourself to understand a little bit more about your tendencies? Well, this question is very individual and specific, so I'll try and be as helpful as possible while keeping this video general and appealing to everybody. The first place I would start if I was a relatively new golfer and someone who was still sort of learning to distinguish and discover my own shot pattern is I'd always start with the grid. The grid diagram that we use here at GOLFTEC and throughout the Stack and Tilt network, the grid is literally constructing a shot. That's what it's on the ground and that's what it's doing. It's building in a club face angle, an angle of attack, and a club path, all of which come together to produce an expected outcome. So when you set up and how you set up massively influences the likely tendency or the likely outcome of how that ball's going to fly. Its start direction, its general tendency to curve, which direction it's going to curve in, and how much. So the very first place I would start is to understand the geometry and building in the grid. I've done plenty of videos on these before, and I'll link this in here and also in the description. You can go and check those out and start to educate yourself on how to set up appropriately to build in and construct a particular shot at setup. For the rest of you, you have options. You certainly need to start paying more attention during your practice sessions, be those at the driving range or hitting indoors on a simulator. One of the great benefits to hitting on a simulator is you're able to go and look at a set of shots. It's going to keep all of the data there for you. You're going to be able to go back and take a look at the start direction tendency of your ball, the curve direction tendency of your ball. You're going to be able to do that over a period of shots, rather than if you're just at the driving range hitting balls, you're really just reacting to the previous shot that you just hit. You hit one a bit to the right, you make an adjustment, you hit it a little bit more to the left. That isn't learning how to aim. You're just trying to hit the ball dead straight, and as I've already touched on, that's not the way to do it. If you're doing that at the driving range, you're ignoring your pattern, you're ignoring your outcome tendency. You're only paying attention to the good shots that you describe as the ones going straight, and that's putting yourself at a massive disadvantage. You're really losing out on some real potential gains by understanding what you do over a period of shots with different clubs. Another thing to say on the different club subject, different clubs can have different patterns. Recognize it, understand it. This is not fixed or set in stone. You have to be able to recognize, oh, I tend to pull my 7-iron, I hit it more to the left, but actually when I get my driver in my hand, it tends to slice more. That's good information. It's good information to be armed with when you're on the course, because you can make better decisions, and those better decisions can help you to shoot better scores. So if I was to summarize, I would say that aim is not fixed, it's a variable. Learn your pattern. Pay attention to your tendencies, find your shot pattern and learn to aim it appropriately on the golf course. Picking targets that allow you to miss on a certain side that you are more prone to missing on. Do that and your shots will improve, your outcome will improve, and so will your scores. Guys, if you stayed with me this far, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching the video. It's always a pleasure to have you along. This was a fun video to shoot. I hope you found it informative and educational. Before I finish, I must make the point, if you're interested in exploring and improving this side of your game, the course strategy side of your game, do go and check out Scott Fawcett, Decade Golf, and Lou Stagner. These guys are absolutely at the top of their game when it comes to this information. On the internet, you'll find them on Twitter and Instagram. They're very heavily active. They also have a podcast on Spotify and iTunes that I'm familiar with called Hack It Out, the Hack It Out podcast. They also do with fellow YouTuber Mark Crossfield. So guys, if you found it useful, please do let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on aim, and if anything I shared with you today has changed or is going to change the way you approach your way of aiming on the golf course. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, please do click the like button, please subscribe, and consider sharing this with any of your golfing friends who you think it would help. I appreciate you sticking with me, and until next time, I'll see you very soon again for another video.